Alright, good evening. This is Lynx, and this is a video. In the last video I did, or one of the last videos I did, someone had asked me to see some oracles that I designed that were different from the dice that I've done that were cards. People were showing interest in my cards. And this video is actually about the first one I designed, called the Lucky Lynx Fortune Cards. This was the first thing I designed before I did the dice or anything. And I'm gonna show you them now, and I'm gonna tell you how it came about. About 10 years ago or so, I was doing readings in historical venues. I'd be in a historical setting, and I was always on the lookout for a deck that fit into that theme. So when I was doing like 19th century stuff or readings in a 19th century setting, I found I don't remember where I found it. I found this deck, and it was, who was this? It's the Madame Lenormand's Fortune Cards. Okay, and I think actually I found it on a website or something. I didn't know nothing about it. I just ordered it. It said it was based on, the fortune telling that Napoleon's psychic did, and I thought, wow, what a great thing. So I get this, and these are the instructions. Basically tells you a little bit here about how to lay them out in a GT. Those of you who do Lenormand, you know that. So I did. I just read the instructions, and I laid them out for people, and I used to read for them all the time, and they're just real simple. So here's the cross, the ring. That's it. That's all it's on them, right? They're real simple, the writer. So I did these, and I'd do readings with them, and people were always blown away. I would just read them, and I'd look at, how they were laid out, if two were touching each other, if they were going a different direction, what they were facing. And I didn't even know that there was a group, they were a big deal, Lenormand. Later I found out, after I'd been reading with them for years, that there was like this sort of cult growing of Lenormand readers, right? So I stopped doing that, the reenacting stuff, the historical readings in those areas, and I had really grown to love using these. So I wanted to develop a deck that used the Lenormands based on what I understood the meanings were in my experience over the years of reading with them. So this is the deck. Now I'm going to show them to you guys. This is not, I call this is not your mother's Lenormand deck. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the cards. I'm going to show you here. This is the wealth card with a fish. Okay, we got the key. That's the key. All right. Here's the house. The house, that's the goddess of the hearth and home. It's not what's her name? It's not it just slipped my mind. It's not Hera. It's I'm gonna remember in a few seconds, and I'm gonna shout it out. This is the man card. Okay, it's Katharine Hepburn as the man card. She was dressed in this movie as a man, and the reason I did this, I did the man and the woman like this because people were always asking me what a man would represent if there was no man in the reading, and I'd say, well, it represents you. You're supposed to be in your projective side. So what I did was I made a woman dressed as a man to remind people that it's not necessarily a man or a woman. It could represent an aspect of yourself. You see? I did the same thing with the woman card. I'll show you that in a minute. Crane. It's the crane. Here's the mountain. That's actually Mount Meru in Tibet, and it's known as the center of the world in Tibetan cosmology. And it reminds me, when I see a mountain, that a mountain is something that is only in your mind, and that a mountain can be a place of great protection and or reflection. So I don't like only a positive or meaning for each. I want people to think about things here. And then there are the eyes of the Buddha to remember me that which is truly immovable is only possible with the mind, and that you can move mountains with your mind. That's the Friends or the Garden. That's Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe and what's her name? Lauren Bacall from How to Marry a Millionaire. They were the ultimate friendship trio, and very social creatures, which reminds me of that. That's the lilies. Also remembers an older man, so I've got an older man on there too, and a man who represents a lot of fun. I cut his face off, but it's actually Bruce Willis, and it always reminds me when I see it that the lily is an older man that's a lot of fun. Here's the woman. That's Jack Lemmon in Some Like It Hot. Again, I want people to remember that it may come up as an aspect of you, not just you. That's why it's not clear whether it's just a woman, because people were always having problems with that. Well, what if it comes up and there's no woman, but it represents the receptive side of you then? Here's the book. Wisdom, Necronomicon, secrets, things that are yet to be unfolded, knowledge. This is the bear. That on there is a purba. It is a Tibetan ritual object that suggests protection, and whenever the bear came up for me, it always signified protection. So I put a purba on there to help remember that. There's the flowers, but there's also beauty and gifts in the picture too. Those are presents there, and that's sort of a woman's face, because it reminds me that it can also mean beauty and or gifts. That is the road, and that's the seal of travelers right there. That's a traveler's talisman. So it could suggest that yes, you have a choice to make, but remember, if you make it from an honest place and an honest expression, you will be protected. Messages, we have not just letters these days. Texts come up, phone messages, where emails. So a message has evolved. So I think that the image should evolve too, to remind us, that this is not just Napoleon's time. It's an active thing that's representing right now. Mice. Those of you who know, this is Peter O'Toole and Audrey Hepburn. They were thieves in this film, but that's also a Buddha up there to remind you that nothing can be stolen from you if you have your peace, and that peace of mind is the ultimate defense against anything being stolen from you. If you have nothing up there if you have nothing to be stolen because you are at peace, the mice can't bother you. Also, the mice. First time I ever read with the mice, it represented fun times and good times with people. So I remember that because this is a comedy. So the anchor indicates security. Well, a pyramid is one of those things that has stood the test of time. So I put that on there to remind me. Security can also mean, there's deeper meanings to each one of those, but those are sort of the cross. This is the one card that's never a good omen for me. I've never seen it come up in a positive situation, so it actually represents it by the dark tones. Also suggests a black and white view, but there's an aspect of it I put in there, a cross with the 4 points on it, suggests that you could defend yourself against it. That's an equidistant cross, and one with those 4 points means that you could actually disarm the curse of the cross. And it's always a reminder in here that it's your choice whether or not you want to take that sort of bad energy or not. So I always wanted to put hope in a situation where people didn't. The heart, I think that one's self-explanatory. You got the clouds, and again, the clouds. Whenever something happens with the clouds, you go through a dark time and a positive time, depending upon what side the card lies on. Is it in the dark side or the positive side? That will tell you what's coming in, what's coming out, or what the dark stuff is, or what the light stuff is. But I put at the center the 3 poisons, which remind me that any dark time that comes or any light time that comes is also in the mind. And those 3 poisons, anger, greed, and pride, anger, hatred, and pride, the 3 poisons. Ignorance. I'm sorry, the pig is ignorance. Let me show you here. Okay, wait. The pig is ignorance, the snake is hatred, and the cock is pride. Okay? And those 3 poisons are at the core of any bad time that comes to you, or anything that comes to you that's a negative thing that you have to work through. Probably one of those 3 poisons is at the core of it. So I put that there to remind me when I'm doing a reading for people that I tried to put the solutions on the cards where there was the solution is right there for you on the card if you want to, coach someone through it. It reminds me that a ship is can be it doesn't just have to be on the water. It could represent the water, but camel is a ship of the desert. This is the tree, but also has to do with health. So I wanted that in there to remind me and to remind people that it's also about health. This is an ending. I've got Bela Lugosi in there as Dracula. Also a reminder that there can be new beginnings, and um, dead things can live on if we choose to let them or not. It's up to us. That's the snake. That's actually at the center. There's the snake, and the snake can also represent a dark-haired woman. But that is an ancient Chinese about the white snake and the maiden. That she was actually a snake, and she fell in love with a human. There's a fairy tale at the center of that, and that image is from that fairy tale. So again, it's not always a negative. There's a positive there too. She tried to change her nature, and humans really wouldn't allow her to. They kept wanting, they kept treating her with mistrust. So this sometimes reminds me, don't always use mistrust when you're approaching a person. The moon, and that's the werewolf for what's his name? Lon Chaney Jr. Right? Wait, no, that's. It's not Bela Lugosi. It's not Boris Karloff. It's Lon Chaney. It's Lon Chaney. The sun or victory. The dog or the best friend. It's actually my best friend, my dog. She's the best. That's her on there. That's partnerships and or the ring, and that's any of you have ever seen Cary Grant in. This is from Arsenic and Old Lace. He didn't want to get married in it, but in the end, he found out that he was very much in love and couldn't deny it anymore. He actually was opposed to the idea and wrote books about how marriage was distasteful. And this is the famous contract scene that's in one of the Marx Brothers films. So it reminds me of contracts and partnerships. Fox. The fox can indicate that you have to look at something more closely or that there may be a trap there as well. So, okay, and this is the birds. And that's I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. You see the background? That's Tippi Hedren in The Birds from Alfred Hitchcock. Um, that's um, that's from he's riding an Indian in it's the famous film with Steve McQueen. It's this is the rider obviously, and that's a symbol for change right there. That's a glyph for change, and that's from I think it was the one where they're all in prison in the World War II movie, and I can't believe I can't remember my movies right now, but that's what that was from. It was not The Dirty Dozen. It was where they're all trying to escape. They're all trying to The Great Escape. No, The Great Escape. I think it was Great Escape. Anyway, that's Steve McQueen from it. So that's Buddha and the luck Buddha. That's a luck Buddha. He was actually a monk. That's Hotai. He was a monk. Um, the star, which indicates hope, dreaming, enthusiasm. The child, remembers that a child can have great power and great growing ability and great discipline or not, depending upon how you train the child. It might mean that you have to take a childlike wonder. This could mean a shock and an awareness or an awakening. That's the scythe. And then here's my tower. And I've got the Joker on it because it reminds me that sometimes you have to break, what is confining you, and that sometimes you have to take radical action to get out of a situation where you feel stuck and bound, and that rebellious attitude sometimes gets you out of a very conservative situation where you feel stuck. And then the last one I got here is the whip and the broom. I don't know if you can see this here. I think you can. There you go. If you look at the background, you see there's the whip, but in the background there's Angela Lansbury and Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Because I always like to remember people use this for their sex card. I don't get it. I think the lilies is the one that indicates that for when I'm doing readings for people. But this one also means that you don't have to beat yourself up. You can sweep the situation out. You don't have to be a perfectionist. If you remember, she was a perfectionist in the movie, and when she sort of let go, that's when her power took off. So that's it. That's my first oracle that I designed. Brendan Brown helped me print my first one. I couldn't get the damn thing made, and he actually helped me get it printed. Um, I was, I was broke at the time, and he actually helped me get the first one printed. That was really awesome, and then we sort of took off after that, so that was cool. This is the Lucky Lynx Fortune Cards, and that's the first Oracle I designed, so that's for those of you who asked me about it. And I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to tell you. If you want to get a hold of one, contact me, and I'll let you know how to get it, okay? So you guys have a great night.